In today's Sharp Saturday video, which is the first Sharp Saturday video of 2026, we're going to take a look at one of my Christmas presents from one of my sons. This is the Adler Scout Hatchet from Germany. And that's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Oh, by the way, this wasn't the only thing he got me this year. He also got me this, which may or may not have come from Chuck Testa. So I've named it Patrick. Now back to our hatchet video. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me for another Sharp Saturday video, the first Sharp Saturday video of 2026. Where it's Saturday, we take a look at something sharp. And like I said today, that something sharp is this gift from one of my sons. Is an Adler Scout Hatchet from Germany. And Adler's been making really high quality tools in Germany for over 100 years. We're going to take a closer look at this in just a minute, get to doing some of that hatchet stuff. But first, today's words of wisdom from the Bible. Today's wisdom is from Proverbs chapter 14, verse 28 in the NLT translation. People with understanding control their anger. A hot temper shows great foolishness. So keep it cool. And of course, a big thank you to my friends at Hog Holsters for sponsoring today's video. Hog holsters make the most comfortable, most concealable holster I've ever used. I've been using one for over 10 years. Like most people, I went through a lot of different holsters trying to find the best one. Once I found Hog holsters, I quit looking. They absolutely are the best I've ever used. They're 100% made in the USA down to the screws, and every single Hog holster is individually handcrafted to fit your specific pistol model. If they offer your pistol model, it'll be made for your pistol, and they offer hundreds and hundreds of models. So Hog holsters made in the USA, helping Americans wear guns. And if you use the code Survival on Purpose, all one word, you'll be glad you did. So thanks to Hog Holsters for sponsoring today's video. Now, before the sun goes down, let's see if we can get to doing some of that hatchet stuff. You want to? Okay, in the interest of time, we're going to forego the stump top for some of this, but let's just take a look at this thing and we'll talk about the specs of it as we go here. So this has a head weight of 10.56 ounces. For those of you still stuck in that old metric system like they probably are over in Germany, that's 299 grams. The total weight is just 14 ounces, so slightly less than a pound, or 399 grams. The handle length is 11.8 inches, or 30 centimeters, and the handle wood type is, it says European ash on the description, but in their overall company they say they use American hickory, so one or the other. It looks like good straight-grained wood to me. For sure, the grain is very nice and straight. The steel type is C60, sourced in Germany. It has this black anti-slip paint at the very bottom of it. It's got some grip on it, and a red stripe, which I think indicates the model. This is the Scout model again. It has a heavy-duty leather sheath or mask. I'm not sure what the difference between a sheath and a mask is, but I'll call them a sheath. And then snaps very well here, like so. Try to do it on camera. It's really fun to do stuff on camera. And it has a little bit of a belt loop here with a D-ring on it, so you can hang that on wherever you need to hang it, I guess. It has a round wedge which distributes the pressure evenly around the head to keep this thing really secure on there. Made in Germany, and the MSRP on this is 93 bucks. So as I said earlier, Adler has been making stuff, tools and axes and all sorts of tools since 1919 in Germany. They are certified German-made. Everything is German. The steel is German-sourced. Everything is made in Germany. So German craftsmanship is world famous. This kind of has the, I'm not sure what style axe blade that is. I'm sure there's somebody that could tell me that. If you know, tell me in the comments below. But I like it. You can kind of get a grip on it here and maybe do some carving if it's sharp enough. And it's a very, very functional looking head. So that being said, now let's get down to the old stump top and get to doing a little bit of that hatchet stuff. You want to? Okay, try to get back here where you can see the whole thing. We've got about a 3 to 3.5 inch diameter hunk of wood here. I'm going to chop on for a minute. We may not chop through the whole thing because, as I said, it's getting dark really fast here. So let's see what we can do. Let's just see how well it chops and bites. So first chop, bit in pretty stinking good. And this is, I believe, a piece of cedar. I don't know, man. It bit really good. Yeah, okay. Gotta be careful when I do stuff like this because I like my fingers. Man, this thing bites like a wolverine. Okay. All right, I'll be the first person to admit that a small hatchet like this is not the best choice of tools for cutting a 3-inch log. A saw would be much better, but I want to try to just test the capabilities of this thing. I got to be honest with you, it really chops good. It has good balance. It's got good grip on this paint. It really does make it grip good. And the weight is light enough that it's not fatiguing, but it's also heavy enough to get the job done. And it bites into that wood. It really does. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now, let's see what we can do as far as getting a little something to start a fire with. Because in my opinion, that's one of the main uses for a camp style hatchet. It's just firewood, fire prep stuff, and maybe making tent stakes and stuff like that. But so that side's been on the ground. It's a little wet. That's you can see the water there. You can see, I believe this thing went like this, right? So that was on the ground. You can see the water stains. So we're going to try to get to some dry wood that wasn't on the ground. And that's pretty dry there. So set that aside and get you down here a little closer now. Okay, I'm really trying to beat the sunset here. So let's see if we can split this out a little bit more. You see that? And I'm not going to cut my fingers off like that person did on the loan, so I'm going to try to do a little bit of just slightly baton to get it started. And I know a lot of people tell you don't do this because you can spread your eye, and you could, but I don't think that little bit is going to hurt it. I just want to see how well this thing carves, if it will carve. I don't know if it will or not. It's certainly not. It's definitely not shaving sharp or anything like that, but it feels pretty sharp. So let's just see how well it'll carve. Some of them there are feathers, or curls, if we need to start a fire. Okay, so you can see that it did carve, kinda, but certainly not quite there. It's not a knife, it's an axe, a hatchet. But I'm pretty sure that with a little work, you could hone this thing up to be really super shaving sharp. So as far as for hatchet stuff, it seems to work pretty good. Let's see what else we can do that's kind of scientific. So I didn't really go any further with scraping and all that for a couple reasons. First of all, it's certainly not set up for that kind of fine work. There's going to be trade-offs if you do get the edge really super fine, where it'll do like shaving kind of work. It's probably going to be a little more fragile for doing chopping kind of work. So I think the edge is very serviceable on this thing as it comes. It's sharp enough to get. You saw how it was biting into the wood. So for hatchet stuff, I think it's probably about where it needs to be. But you know, I am all about the science here at Survival on Purpose, and to that end, we maintain a state-of-the-art, cutting-edge testing facility here at our worldwide headquarters. One of the tests we like to do on all fixed-blade knives, and of course, hatchets and axes, is to test the aerodynamic balance with our balance, orientation, and rotation device, which, as you can see, is sorely in need of restoration. But we're going to try that, and to be fair, Adler does actually offer, I looked them up, they have a throwing hatchet with a straight throwing handle, but we're going to test the aerodynamic balance of this one and endeavor to persevere. And as usual, proper scientific methodology is critical. Whoop, 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 whoop. Kind of got it in the old knots there. Oh. Dead center, or where center would have been. Whoop. Oh yeah, I'm having fun. Got to fix that balance, orientation, rotation device. Whoop. When Chuck Norris lifts weights, the weights get in shape. All right. Man, I got to say, this thing is a joy to balance test. It just flies very, very well. So that's the Adler Scout Hatchet. Like I said, this was a gift to me from my son for Christmas, and I didn't know what to think about it. I looked them up, and they looked like they had a pretty good pedigree, so I thought I would review it for you, and man, I'm glad I did. This is a really good little hatchet. Pretty nice, about 93 bucks, so not a bad price either for a literally kind of an heirloom style tool that just gets the job done. So I think I like the size. It's small enough and very light enough to be handy and comfortable. And even if you had a Boy Scout or whatever, the handle's kind of small enough for youth hands, it's going to fit fine. So I think just a nice little hatchet. So again, the Adler Scout, and I hope this video has been helpful and somewhat interesting. I really sincerely appreciate you watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.